This year has been a hell of a year for power scaling events in One Piece. We got to see many matchups we never thought would happen, from Shanks vs Kid, Blackbeard vs Law, Garp and Kuzan, Luffy and Kizaru, and many more. And with strong characters making their introduction into the story, such as Figureland Garling, and those introduced years and years ago who we finally get to see in action for the first time, such as Saint J. Garcia Saturn, both of whom will be included on today's list. It's safe to say there will be some updates to this year's top 30 list. However, Emu will not be included on this list, and as always we will keep it to living characters only, with one honorable mention. And that honorable mention will be Captain Kobe of the Marines. Kobe has been vital to the plot this past year, and he's been around some ridiculously strong fighters recently, taking part in fights involving Blackbeard, Boa, Kuzan, Garp, and others. It's hard to see Kobe not gaining a lot of experience and courage through these encounters. Not to mention he was trained by Garp, so hockey proficiency is something I no doubt expect from Kobe, and we definitely got to see a glimpse of that with Honesty Impact, which looks like either Advanced Conquerors or Advanced Armament. Regardless of which, it's safe to say he has exceeded many top tier combatants in hockey proficiency, a lot of whom I actually have on this list today. Opening up the list at number 30, we have none other than Charlotte Katakuri, one of the 3 sweet generals and second in command of the Big Mom Pirates. Katakuri is no joke. He showcased some of the most overpowered and versatile movesets we have ever seen in his absolute death brawl with Luffy back in Whole Cake Island. What other character out there can you say has an OP and very useful Devil Fruit? Awakened, might I add, Conquerors Hockey, Armament Hockey, Advanced Observation aka Future Sight, incredible speed and incredible endurance, fighting toe-to-toe with Luffy for 11 hours. We may have moved on from his role in the story, but to this day Katakuri is still an extremely impressive fighter, and so I gotta give him his due respect and put him on this list, sitting at the 30 spot. At 29 we have Sanji, and Sanji is a character whose growth rate exceeds most characters out there. And if it were not for the fact that we've been getting introduced to many more strong characters recently, or just seeing characters that were previously inactive finally step into action, then I would have had Sanji a lot higher on this list. Sanji's got everything: strength, speed, durability, hockey. Although he doesn't have Conqueror's hockey, I think he more than makes up for it with everything else. And as we move further into the story, he will surely climb higher and higher until he is eventually Admiral or even Yonko level possibly. But for now, I think as strong as Sanji is, everyone else I'm about to mention is just stronger than him. And at 28 we have King. The world government wanted to make pacifistas that were better, faster, stronger, and more durable than the older Kuma versions. And probably the smartest thing they could have done was to give them Lunarian genes. Lunarian DNA might be the biggest cheat code of them all, even better than a lot of overpowered devil fruits. And yet King has both. Not only is King the only living Lunarian, but he also has an insanely tough devil fruit that grants him even more durability and speed on top of what he already has. Everything else aside, King might be one of the most versatile fighters with damn near perfect all-around stats when it comes to combat. I really wish we could have seen more of him in action, but his fight with Zoro easily goes down as one of the best the series has ever given us. At 27 we have Diamond Jozu of the Whitebeard Pirates. Jozu is a character who most people either forget about or underrate in my opinion. He was incredibly impressive at Marineford against Aokiji one-on-one, while also casually blocking slashes from Mihawk and throwing giant icebergs like they were nothing. He's got the strength, he's got the durability, and he's got the devil fruit to hang with the best of the best. He wasn't Whitebeard's number 3 for nothing, and I think Jozu deserves a lot more respect in the community. So if you guys are liking the video so far, why not go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps me go a long way in making these videos. So please subscribe. At 26 we have Shiryu of the Rain. There's not much to say about Shiryu right now. We know he's one of the 10 Titanic captains of the Blackbeard Pirates, a fearsome swordsman who was said to be an equal to Magellan prior to gaining the powers of invisibility through Absalom's devil fruit. We saw a glimpse of him in action versus Garp, but nothing to be able to really scale him off of. He's more than likely going to be an opponent for Zoro in the future, so it's safe to say he definitely belongs in the top 30. At 25 we have Trafalgar Law. Law, unlike most characters here, has actually been in a major battle recently to showcase how much stronger he's gotten since the Big Mom fight. And I would say his fight with Blackbeard was very impressive. Keep in mind, Blackbeard is a Yonko with 2 absolutely insane OP devil fruit powers, and Law was able to hang with him one-on-one. even if for a short period of time he was catching Blackbeard with some nasty combos. But probably the most impressive thing about that fight was seeing Law understand the importance of Haki and seeing him counter Devil Fruits with superior Haki for the first time ever. Even though he lost the fight, I think that's to be expected, but when he comes back, he'll be back even stronger than before. At 24, we have Eustace Captain Kidd. I think it's safe to say that no character has received more slander from the One Piece community in this past year, from a power scaling perspective at least, than Eustace Kidd. With him getting one shot by an angry Shanks, which personally I think is happening to all but maybe 2 or 3 characters in the story today, I don't think that takes anything away from Kidd. I think he's still a very strong combatant, and even though he lost his poneglyphs, he is still a competitor in the race for the One Piece. They say you learn the most from your biggest losses, and with his newly awakened Devil Fruit and his horrible loss to Shanks, there is no better opportunity for Kidd to grow than right now. At 23, we have Yamato. Yamato has not really changed since last year, of course, with her not having any screen time since, but I think it's safe to say she holds her spot right in the middle of what I like to call the Wano 4, being Kidd, Law, Yamato, and Zoro. We know she has incredible Haki, incredible durability, incredible endurance, and she even has advanced Conqueror's Haki, which, as Kaido said, only a scant few of the strongest can use. All in all, looking back at Yamato and her performance in Wano, I think she sits comfortably at 23 for me. And at 22, we have Zoro, the vice captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, the right-hand man of the future Pirate King, and the future world's strongest swordsman. Zoro is a master of his craft, an incredibly skilled and versatile moveset. He showed us in the Onigashima raid how deadly his top attacks can be, with Ashura and King of Hell causing serious damage to perhaps the 2 most durable characters we have ever seen. Although Kaido's may not have been that serious, King was instantly defeated by this attack. His performance on Egghead has been stale so far. Currently, he's still fighting Rob Lucci, but I have a strong feeling we will see some pretty cool stuff from Zoro this upcoming year. At 21, we have Green Bull. I know a lot of you will say this is a very low ranking for a Navy Admiral, but to me, Green Bull from his introduction has never really shown or given off the vibe to be on par with his fellow peers. Even just the fact that he looks up to Akainu so much, whereas Fujitora butts heads with him constantly, Kuzan fought him, and Kizaru doesn't care enough about anything. It seems like he's almost quote-unquote the cabin boy of admirals, and his lackluster feats in Wano back this up even more. But I'll give credit where credit is due. He was able to defeat and capture Edward Weevil, but in all honesty, we really don't know how strong Weevil is to begin with. Either way, Green Bull is sitting at 21 for now. And at number 20, we have Sir Crocodile of Cross Gill, former warlord of the sea, current Yonko commander with just under 2 billion berry bounties on his head. Crocodile is a character who relies more on portrayal than feats, and I'll have a video coming out about this shortly. But even in terms of feats, he more than made up for his poor Alabasta showing at Marineford, clashing with many top tiers and clearly having the respect of everyone from Sengoku to Akainu to Mihawk. He already has a busted fruit. If he was able to focus on developing his Haki over the 2-year time skip, which I believe to be the case, then the next time we see Crocodile in a serious fight, he will shock the world. At number 19, we have Marco the Phoenix, former right-hand man of the world's strongest man, Whitebeard, possessing one of, if not the most durable devil fruits in the entire series, which allows him to fly and get past attacks from top tiers with basically 0 damage taken. We saw him clash with all 3 admirals at Marineford and give them all a hard time. He fought King and Queen at the same time during the Onigashima raid, even if not for a very long period of time. He seems to specialize in endurance and stalling strong opponents. But truth be told, I wish we could have seen more from him from an attacking perspective and seeing how much damage he can actually do to these strong opponents, rather than just stalling them for long periods of time. And so even though he seemed to go toe-to-toe with the admirals, it's because of this that I have him much lower on this list. At number 18, we have Boa Hancock, the pirate empress with a 1.6 billion berry bounty. Her name is respected and feared across the world, as we see when strong fighters such as Blackbeard and Kobe invade Amazon Lily. It seems that absolutely no one dares to take her lightly, not even a Yonko, as we see Blackbeard plans to basically sneak her from behind. Her Devil Fruit grants her incredibly hacks abilities with the potential to one-shot almost anybody in the verse given the right circumstances. As far as Devil Fruit potential goes, she's at the top of the top, and we know she has Conqueror's Haki too. It's only a matter of time before we really see just how frightening she can be when serious. And at number 17, we have both Yasob and Lucky Roo of the Red Hair Pirates, with them being the second and third in command of the crew and the strongest ones after Shanks and Beckman. Yasob is a sniper who specializes in marksmanship, probably the best in the world perhaps, and Lucky Roo is the crew's combatant and also carries a gun and is known for being incredibly fast. This group seems to specialize in Haki, and I would not be surprised if these two men did as well, with both having advanced forms of Haki and unique abilities to them. It's really hard to gauge or feel out which one is supposed to be stronger than the other, and because of that I have them tied at 17. And at number 16 we have Admiral Fujitora of the Navy Headquarters. This guy has one of the most incredible Devil Fruit powers out there with the ability to control gravity. And just like most admirals, we see he is very laid back, but also very powerful. Perhaps some of the best destructive capability in the verse, with the ability to summon down meteorites at will. Sadly, with all the hype, the only feats we actually have from Fujitora are him stalling with Sabo and Luffy at Dressrosa, and once again stalling with Sabo and the revolutionaries at Marijoa. Now, whether he was holding back or not, at the end of the day, admirals are expected to be a lot more competent than this. So this was slightly disappointing for a Navy admiral in my opinion, and because of this I have Fujitora at 16. Moving on to 15, we have Flame Emperor Sabo, second in command of the Revolutionary Army, a group with many incredibly strong combatants who all look up to and respect Sabo as their second in command. He is the right hand man to Monkey D. Dragon. In almost all of his showing so far, he has constantly proven to be at the same level as admirals. He fought with Fujitora to a standstill at Dressrosa. He fought both Greenbull and Fujitora with his commanders in the Holy Land and caused chaos, shot down the world government flag, and retrieved Kuma, having their mission be deemed a complete success when up against not one, but two admirals. He's also fairly young in age, and because of this, I think he's relatively a part of this younger generation. And his growth rate ever since eating Ace's Mera Mera no Mi seems to be on an incredibly fast incline. Perhaps even the fastest growth rate aside from Luffy and Blackbeard. It's only up from here for the Flame Emperor Sabo. At number 14, we have Kuzan, former admiral of the Navy Headquarters and currently a member of the 10 Titanic Captains of the Blackbeard Pirates. We saw some very impressive feats with him against the Blackbeard Pirates in the flashback during his fight with Garp. He was able to deal with some of the other captains with extreme ease, freezing them instantly, and only he had the ability to undo it. However, his battle with Garp was disappointing to me. Seeing an older, almost 80-year-old Garp get the better of Kuzan while he is in his prime, if it were not for Shiryu, I don't really know if Kuzan would have survived that fight. Not to mention, he also lost to Akainu during the time skip and seems to be carrying some pretty heavy injuries with him ever since. At number 13, we have Kizaru, current Navy Admiral and one of the original admirals at that. He possesses one of the most OP Devil Fruits out there, granting him incredible speed, mobility, and versatility. And after all these years, when we finally get to see him in action on Egghead, he was taken down by Gear 5 Luffy in one hit. Now, I'm more than willing to give Kizaru the benefit of the doubt and not count him out just yet. Perhaps there's more to this fight and it's not over yet. We will see soon enough, but for now, Kizaru's feats have been slightly disappointing for me. At number 12, we have Ben Beckman, the vice captain of the Red Hair Pirates, said to be the moon to Shanks' son. He is also said to be compared to Shanks and feared by powerful pirates all across the New World. Ben Beckman comes off as the strong, stoic type and most likely a Haki beast, just like Shanks. We saw him stop Kizaru at Marineford by simply pointing his pistol at him, which, with all speculation aside, taken at face value, is a pretty impressive showing. It will be really interesting to see how Beckman uses Haki with his bullets in combat one day. And at number 11, we have Saint J Garcia Saturn along with the other Gorosei members. There's not much we know about them so far, but we know that they are incredibly fearsome. It seems that Saturn has some kind of weird ability to summon himself into locations at will. He also seems to have some kind of Zoan ability, which most people speculate is a mythical Zoan, Ushi Oni type. All in all, he's been incredibly impressive in Egghead so far and seems to be Kizaru's superior. not just in rank, but also in strength. And now opening up the top 10 list, we got none other than Silver's Rayleigh, the right-hand man to the Pirate King. Rayleigh has an incredibly fearsome reputation on his own, a master of all 3 types of Haki, and more than likely has advanced Haki in all 3 forms as well. He has a strong enough reputation that he was able to scare off Blackbeard at Amazon Lily, and even though he did admit that he was not going to be able to defeat Blackbeard in his old age, it goes to show just how strong he was in his prime, and I don't think he's fallen off that much since then. He's a man who is highly respected by the likes of Shanks, and most likely taught Shanks a lot of his fighting style that he uses today. This goes without saying, but he is also the man who trained Luffy in the fundamentals of Haki. Rayleigh absolutely deserves to be in the top 10. Moving on to number 9, we have Sengoku the Buddha, former fleet admiral of Navy headquarters and the leader of the Navy during the Marineford War. Sengoku is one of the very few characters that possess a mythical type Zoan Devil Fruit, which I believe is the strongest type of Devil Fruit out there. We haven't gone to see much of his Zoan type Buddha Devil Fruit, however I think it's safe to say with his incredible growth in size during the transformation and his solid gold body, it probably grants him incredible strength and durability when he is in that form. This is a man who was mentioned alongside Garp by name by the Pirate King himself, Goldie Roger, to be competition to go against him one-on-one. And we also know that Sengoku is one of the few characters who possesses Conqueror's Haki. At number 8, we have Figureland Garling. We don't know much about this guy except that he is the leader of the Holy Knights. And keep in mind, this is the group that Dragon prioritizes his focus on in terms of combat, even more so than the 5 elders and the admirals. We also know that he fights with a sword, and one way or another he has some kind of relation to Shanks. When it comes to Garling, it's just a lot of speculation right now, but I think it's safe to say that he is definitely going to be a very strong character. At number 8, we have Yonko Blackbeard, leader and captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. Blackbeard recently got a huge bump in his bounty, going up to just under 4 bill, and this is due to him defeating Wang Zi, a former Rocks pirate, with some kind of help from Kobe that we don't know in order to take over Hachinosu. He also has 2 of the most destructive and frightening Devil Fruit abilities and is most likely attempting to get his hands on a 3rd. Sitting at 3.966 billion, Blackbeard is currently the 2nd highest active bounty that we know of. At number 6, we have Monkey D. Garp. Garp possesses insane physical strength and speed, even in his old age. He also possesses advanced Conqueror's Haki on an insane level of DC with Galaxy Impact. Garp was definitely getting the better of Kuzan, a former Navy admiral, in their fight, even in his old age. And it took both Kuzan and Shiryu to take him down. If there's anything I've gathered from Garp's impressive showings recently, is that it seems that Haki does not weaken over age, and Garp is proof of this with his Galaxy Impact. At number 5, we have Akainu, the current fleet admiral of the Marines, one of the main antagonists in the series. If we're being honest, Akainu seems to be the only competent admiral ever in the story. He is the man that killed Ace. He is the man that defeated Kuzan one-on-one in Punk Hazard. He is the current fleet admiral. He is said to possess one of the highest offensive Devil Fruit powers according to Oda, and Oda also mentioned that if Akainu was the protagonist of this series, he would find the One Piece and become Pirate King in 1 year. And I think it's safe to say that he probably has the highest attack potency in the verse as well, with his blows almost always being death blows or leaving you unconscious and near death. And because of that, Akainu makes his way into the top 5. And at number 4, we have the main character himself, Monkey D. Luffy, the man who recently defeated Kaido himself, the future Pirate King, Joy Boy himself, our GOAT, Luffy. Luffy has recently mastered his Devil Fruit with the Awakening and Gear 5 form. He is also a master of all 3 types of Haki. In fact, he is the only confirmed person to have all 3 types of advanced Haki so far. And it seems that the further we go on in the story, Luffy's growth rate from an arc to arc perspective grows exponentially, with him getting perhaps 2 or 3 times stronger in just one arc now. Luffy is growing stronger every day and is currently holding his own in Egghead with a lot of top tiers on that island. Not to mention the incredible showing against Kizaru in their one-on-one fight recently. Luffy has been nothing but spectacular so far. At number 3, we have Hawkeye Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman, said to have had legendary duels with Shanks in the past that even Whitebeard talks about with great respect. He is often compared to Shanks and the two's names come up side by side, a man who remains calm in even the toughest situations. And recently we find out that all this time Mihawk actually never did want to become a Yonko, which gives even stronger evidence to the idea that Mihawk was Yonko level all this time. I think the best thing that we could say about Mihawk is that he is the only possessor of a black blade up till now in the story, which I think could likely be tied to advanced armament hockey and something along that route. And just like everyone else, I am still dying to see his fight with Zoro one day. At number 2, we have the revolutionary monkey D Dragon. As the years go on and the chapters go by, Dragon is a man that everyone is waiting to see in action. Simply from a portrayal and narrative perspective, he is the father of Luffy, he is the leader of the revolutionary army, he is the captain of Sabo, he has the highest bounty in the series, being the most wanted man. And being this late into the story and still having absolutely no feats and not having been in any fights, I think is a good thing for Dragon. It's safe to assume that Oda is saving Dragon for the absolute end game of One Piece, perhaps in the final war against the world government. And as we get to see all these other characters show out now, such as Kaido and Big Mom and the Admirals, that by the time we get to see Dragon in action, I have a feeling that he is going to outdo and outshine all of these characters. And we've gotten a lot of Devil Fruit teases from him so far, where it seems like he possesses some kind of Wind Logia or Wind Devil Fruit ability, and if this is the case, I can only imagine he is going to be one of, if not the best, Devil Fruit master in the series. And last but not least, at number 1, who else could it be? We have Red Hair Shanks. From his Wi-Fi hockey against Green Bull, to stopping the war at Marineford, to Kaido's top 5 list, to ending the Kid Pirates and Kid's entire pirating career with one divine departure in his most recent appearance. Who else could have possibly taken the top spot on this list? Shanks has the best portrayal, the best feats, and the best narrative to make the case of being top 1 today. It's very clear that Oda is pushing Shanks to be the modern day Roger, and if you ask me, the upgraded and better version of Roger. He has a presence about him that no other character possesses. Everybody either fears him, respects him, or both. Simply put, Shanks is him. More videos coming soon, subscribe so you don't miss it. And as always, thanks for watching.